It has grown into a small-town mystery, wrapped in a crime scene some call staged, sprinkled with political intrigue and police missteps, topped with a death that can't be explained.
Tonight, in a 3 News Investigates exclusive, we use rare photos and recordings to answer a perplexing question. What happened to Bryon Macron?
I open the door at night, or I take out the garbage and I look down the street like, when are you coming home? You know, it's awful. It's an absolute nightmare.
Victoria Macron's haunting nightmare unfolds in the frigid morning hours of December 16, 2016. Her husband, Bryon, a respected jewelry salesman, doting father, and Lafayette Township trustee, was missing. In the preceding days, he had told co-workers of a planned meeting that morning with a resident, furious over passage of a fire levy. But no one, not even Bryon Macron, knew the caller's name. Macron arranged for fellow trustee Mike Costello and service director Rick Evans to be nearby if the meeting turned sour. But when Evans arrived at his usual 7 a.m. shift, he found the office unlocked, blood spattered and in disarray. Macron's mangled glasses and his cell phone on the floor, his phone calendar curiously open to a reminder: meeting with angry resident. To investigators, skepticism took root. The crime scene seemed too perfect, maybe staged. Meanwhile, a 4-minute drive away at Chippewa Lake Beach was Macron's dark Chevy SUV. The driver's side interior smeared in blood. Macron nowhere to be seen. Victoria Macron's suspicions immediately grew too at law enforcement.
There's no doubt in your mind that you believe he was murdered.
I do.
Why do you believe that so deep down?
Because I know my husband. Like I said, there were things uncovered in the records that I believe maybe he was going to expose or talk about with someone, and they didn't want that information to get out.
2 months later, Macron's body surfaced on the thawing lake. What an autopsy didn't show was startling. He didn't drown. The 45-year-old former Marine wasn't shot nor strangled. There were no signs of restraints, no blunt force trauma, no poison or drugs in his system. Only several superficial knife wounds to his arms, shoulders, and neck, none capable of causing death. All possibly self-inflicted.
There was no obvious source to tell us what caused his death.
Dr. Lisa Duranick, Medina County coroner, came to a conclusion she's only reached just twice in over 1,000 cases.
It is very rare. It was unusual from a body standpoint that we couldn't determine the cause of death.
The delay in finding Macron's body and the lack of a definitive cause of death only fueled suspicions of a cover-up. Medina County law enforcement handed the case over to the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation. Victoria Macron hired her own private investigator.
That was just, he started looking at the records. He's like, something's not right here.
However, the BCI investigation found Macron likely created the angry resident meeting as a ruse, injured himself, perhaps over financial problems. He then drove to Chippewa Lake and, based on autopsy findings in Cuyahoga and Medina counties, possibly succumbed to hypothermia. Now, over 6 years later, Victoria Macron remains unconvinced that her husband's actions caused his death. But who did? Why? Was it politics? Revenge? Did he know something?
I still, to this day, cannot believe this. It just saddens me so much. I just even haven't had a day to grieve myself, because I've just gone in and fought from the very beginning, and that's not the way it should be.
No clear cause of death. One reason why Victoria Macron is now pushing for the BCI to reopen its case into the death of her husband. There is much more to this story, so we have put my full interview with Victoria and a breakdown of the unanswered questions on our website, WKYC.com. Russ.
Okay, Lena Lai, thanks so much.